showing skin yet, and the answer is that I will be in a little bit. But do thank you all for coming here, and hopefully I'll manage to give you some really good entertainment because we got some very ushikushi and also omoshiroi articles going on. It's something to be beholden. But in the meantime, did you know that Street Fighter 6 Open Beta is out? Huh? How many of you care? It's kind of like when I was in a stream with Devin Tracy, and he was like, what do you think about the new chess championship? And I'm like, what? Chess championship, V? Do you not enjoy the sport? No. And I think it's the same when I tell you guys about Street Fighter. You're like, V, we don't care. No one cares. Like, the only thing that people care about Street Fighter is to tell you, like, you do not buy product from people that hate you. Why do you buy product? Why do you have entertainment? You should have no entertainment. Go outside. That's probably the only thing that I would get from people. But apparently, Mortal Kombat also released a trailer. Mortal Kombat 1. That's what they call it. How many times did they reboot the franchise now? I think this is the third time. Well, actually, if you count the spin-offs, like the Shaolin Monks and stuff, they rebooted it like 4, maybe 5 times. No, apparently it's not the Mortal Kombat with the drag queens. That's the previous one. My God, I remember when I saw the person that was in charge of the character design. They were transitioning right in front of my eyes. Like every single time they were doing this developer interview, the person in charge of the character design was growing bigger and bigger titties. To the point where like they had at one at one point they had bigger titties than any of the cast. But it explained a lot. Like if that person was in charge of character design, and they said that Jade is the best design that he ever seen in the series. So what they thought Jade was like a strong jaw, broad shoulders, very very masculine features, to the point that if I had those features, I would be able to woo anything girl in high school. So yeah, but this one, I don't know, like the way they do it, I noticed like the way that they're purposefully doing it is that they're having like one girl with big boobs and that's it. Like the rest of the cast needs to have small boobs. And they do that in Injustice as well. So they also have like a sexy girl. For example, in Injustice it was Black Canary, but then all the other girls, like they take them around the corner and they beat them with the ugly stick. I guess it's their version of having diversity. So that no one complains. It's like, hey, you know, we do have like one girl with big boobs. But other than that, no. Like, will I change the locks on my streams? What are you talking about? Yeah, the one that looks like, well, you know, like nowadays, Western games, like all of them look like men. It's kind of interesting. You go to Korean MMOs and all the men look like women. Like, you wouldn't be able to tell if a man is a girl or not, because they have, like, feminine features. And then you go to the Western games, and all the women look like men. Like, if we could get a balance in between Korean MMOs and Western MMOs, you'd basically have perfection. But I don't think we're going to get to that. Mortal Kombat's progression fills me with sadness. MK1 to 9, sex and violence. Yeah, like, it literally was what sold the game. It's like something that teenagers, especially teen boys, really like, you know, like there is the reason why slasher films were popular, like Jason Voorhees and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like all of them operated on sex and violence. Like you have, so most people, believe it or not, the general audience does not like gore, right? Like they do not like gratuitous violence. So how do you sell a slasher film? Well, you have like the pretty lady with big booba, and you put her on a poster, you know, the cabin in the woods girl, and people go to see that, and then you give them the slasher. That's pretty much like, it's not really a bait and switch, but I also guess it's like the audience looks at that and their protect mode flips on, and they're like, okay, well, I must protect my waifu. And they don't like it when Jason starts stabbing. it is what it is. Monkey Paw, you get the Korean MMO guys and the Western gaming women. Oh my god, that would definitely be like a hotter. There was a lot less soy in the food supply back then. Oh, I don't know. I mean, you see, when I grew up, in Romania, most of the meat was exported, so people didn't have that much meat inside, and the government sold a lot of soy. Like, you had soy salami, soy meat products, yeah. And for some reason, we still made good movies, and we still made good entertainment. So I don't know if, like, the soy to bad entertainment pipeline is real or not. But it does seem to be a problem in modern America. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. I saw the trailer for Indiana Jones, and I couldn't believe it. It's like, I stole it, and then, like, someone else, then I stole it, then I stole it, and eventually, like, a woman, it's like, and then I stole it, and that's called capitalism. And I cringed so hard, chat. Like, I would have to bill Walt Disney so that they can pay for my hospital receipt, because I cringed so hard, I hurt myself. Not fucking real. And there was another one, like, my god, I'm so sorry I missed it, but, like, if any of you have the clip, please send it to me. It basically has Indiana Jones being accused of being a colonizer. Like, he's, like, fighting Nazis and shit, and the chick basically tells him something in the lines of, like, no, you didn't fight Nazis, like, we were fighting them before you, like, we were fighting the Americans or some shit. Like, I know that that thing is out there. Like, someone showed it to me, and it was, like, right before I went to bed, and I closed the computer, and I didn't save it. And I want to include it in my video, so if anyone has that, like, please give it to me. But, you know, like, Indiana Jones should honestly be called Indiana Jones and Milking the Dead Cow. Like, they have necromancers there, able to reanimate the cow just enough for it to be milked. Yeah, there is a new Indiana Jones, believe it or not. I even stopped paying attention. I genuinely don't care at this point. Why the fuck would I want to see geriatrics, Harrison Ford, doing stuff that's... Like, first of all, Indiana Jones does stuff that's not believable even if a healthy adult does it. You know, like using a whip to swing from a tree. Like, that is insane, right? But now you want me to believe that an 80-year-old man does it? A fuck-off film. You know, I'm genuinely not going to even bother watching it. And by the way, the woman, the actress that they chose, you know, they could have chosen, like, some hot ushikushi waifu. No. Like, just... The girl next door. Literally, like, the girl next fucking door. You know, like, when Harrison Ford was chosen for the role, he wasn't, like, the guy next door. Like, he was buffed, he was ripped. Was in his prime. All the women were salivating over him. Like, because it's a fantasy. It's escapism, right? Like, oh my god, he's an archaeologist. It's like, yeah, but like, he works out and shit. No, like, archaeologists, they have to study for exams. Do you know how boring archaeology work is? Like, you go in the middle of a fucking desert and you have to stay in the scorching heat. And you're, like, digging the ground and you're fighting, like, some skull of a bull that lived, like, 200 years ago. And then, like, oh my god, the archaeological discovery. It's gonna be a passing of the torch movie with a strong female protagonist. She's not even, like, a beautiful actress. You're not going to see a sequel to this. Like, it's going to flop so hard, it's not even funny. Like, it's going to make Star Wars flops look good by comparison. Like, I just saw the trailer. There is no fucking way that shit sells. Like, I will be punk face if it manages to even break even. Same thing with Lara Croft. Lara Croft is actually hot, man. Lara Croft is actually hot, and, like, it makes sense with the lore and stuff. Like, I don't mind Lara Croft. But like, the other thing, you know, like, Indiana Jones passing the torch to a woman, we already have that. It's called Tomb Raider. Like, why would you make something... And they did the same with, what was it? There's, the other franchise with, like, from Naughty Dog. Fucking hell, I forgot the name. But, like, they also did that. Like, he has a daughter, and they're passing the torch. And I'm like, okay, but you do have Tomb Raider. Why does everyone try to be Tomb Raider? Yes, Uncharted. But, like, why is Uncharted trying to be Tomb Raider? I don't get it. It's like... Yeah, like, Ford was in his prime, literally. Like, you would have to have... an actress that looked like 40. One of the reasons that Indiana Jones sold so well is that a lot of women liked Harrison Ford. I know this is astonishing for progressives to believe, but it's not about representation. There's a lot of things to do with sex appeal, right? Like men, they go, it's kind of like, okay, so I was told this by a person who runs a bar. And he told me why having a sexy barman is important. And I was like, what do you mean a sexy barman? Like, shouldn't you get a bar lady? And he goes like, no, because you get a sexy barman, and that barman attracts a lot of women to your business, and the women attract the men. So, like, it makes a lot of sense, right? And it's the same with movies. If you have a hot actor, like you have a Christian Grey, you have the guy that plays Thor, you have Harrison Ford. If you have a hot actor, you're going to attract a lot of female audience. If you have a Megan Fox, if you have like a hot actress, you're going to attract a lot of guys. This is why Marvel movies did great. It's because they had a cast of beautiful men and beautiful women. It's not rocket science. You know, like, if the opposite thing sold, if you had like the guy next door on Hollywood just managing to sell, then they would do that. But like, notice how there are other countries that do movies. You have Bollywood, and you have China, and you have South Korea, and you have Japan, right? All these other countries do the same thing. They do not cast the guy next door. They do not cast the average person. If you want to see the average person, you look out the window. No, they're casting escapism. They're casting some of the most beautiful actors. You know, you look at Bollywood, and you think that that's representative to how people look like in their country. No, then Google India, and you're going to see a major difference between how the people at Bollywood look like and how the people in their own country look like. But it is what it is. You know, like, if they want to go bankrupt, they can keep going bankrupt. Like, at the end of the day, what bothers me and what I don't understand is that you can still push for the ESG mentality. You can still collect those ESG points by casting actors that actually look the part. Like, this is what I don't understand. Like, why are they purposefully casting people that are average looking? It's not even like they're average looking. They are doing their best in order to tone down the beauty of the people that they cast, because you can use makeup, you can use special effects. I mean, my fucking god, a lady on Twitch, just pick anyone. Just pick a random Twitch girl. She uses more filter and more makeup than Hollywood uses for their actresses this day. It is what it is. You know, what can I say? If I wanted to see ugly people go through drama, I would walk down a dark alley. It's not like ugly people don't have a place in fiction. But it's like, just not this type of fiction. You know, it's Indiana Jones. It's escapism. Like, if you have a comedy like Stan and Bran, or you have like some drama, or you have like some different types of movies, sure. But we're talking about Indiana freaking Jones. Everyone is like all the heroes are supposed to look good. But it is what it is. Yeah, it's Mao's Cultural Revolution. Literally, it's like get the most average and mediocre people of society to be the representatives. Look at this shit, by the way. Can anyone explain this shit to me? I would love to hear your take on it, because it's just, like, bewildering. So, French Catholic priests forced to wear QR codes for sex offender status. This has to be one of the dumbest ideas of the Catholic Church ever, right? Because it's not like the French government, because the way it's presented, it sounds to be like the French government. But apparently, the French government can't actually intervene. So, like, I was actually taken aback when I found out that if a priest has been guilty of child sex abuse, they can still be priests. Like, they can still hold mass. Because I was like, what the fuck? But apparently, yeah, because, like, the government, right? So in France, the government can't prevent a priest from preaching. And I'm like, okay, but, like, shouldn't the Catholic Church do that? No, apparently they're going to have a QR code. Okay. So, Catholic priest in France. But like, what this does is it makes the institution look bad. Right? Like, first of all, I would be really curious to compare the number of child molestation done by the Catholic Church and the number of child molestation that happens in schools. Because every fucking day, like, if you follow the news, most people don't. And it's not on the front page, but if you look at it, you're going to see some kid gets molested by a teacher. This happens on almost a monthly basis. And what's bizarre is that it's a female teacher. right? Like the reason it's bizarre is that most people don't expect it. But like, secondly, those teachers are so good looking that you don't think they have a problem managing to find. Like look, when you see like the most ugly individual, the most repulsive person possible, you would say, well, you know, like that guy definitely couldn't get any other way, so you know, like that's why he went into a life of crime. Definitely not understandable, not acceptable, but like I can see how it happened. But when you have like the 10 out of 10 waifu sexually abusing a minor, you're like, what the fuck was she thinking? Why? Like, it's not like she's lacking. Like she can go in a bar and immediately get hooked. Like, what? Why is she doing that? And then you're like realizing, like, a lot of people, right? They go like, nice. Because you have like the South Park episode where people go like, you know, they see the Ushikushi waifu and she's having she's raping a kid that's under her care, and people go like, nice. And I'm thinking like, okay, imagine if it's your kid and she gets pregnant. Are you still going to say nice? Because I don't think you are. Like, that is a concern, isn't it? Even if you're like, okay, well, I can't really empathize because, like, when I was a kid and I had a teacher that was hot, and then, like, if she were to do it to me, I would be nice. You know, I get the South Park reference, but, like, surely you do understand the social harm that can transpire here. American Outlier V, you have to remind yourself who the Pope is. You know, the previous Pope just passed away, and we still don't know why he abdicated. It's like, he could have been there in that seat for a long time, but yeah. In other words, the Shota tag is real. The Shota tag does seem to be real if you look at the news. Just look at female teacher. Usually they don't say rape in the media, right? Because it's a female teacher. But like, female teacher molests student. And you're going to see just so many results. It's astonishing, right? So my question is, does the Catholic Church have more cases than the public school system? I don't know. I legitimately don't know, but I would love to see a statistic. Because I think like if it's not more, it's close enough at this point. It has to be. So anyway, right. We call those women Shota hunters? Is that a term for it? Jesus. So apparently, like, French Catholic priests forced to wear QR codes for sex offender status. So Catholic priests in France will be forced to wear scannable QR codes to signal whether they are sex offenders. I wanna, like, no, from a practical standpoint, right? Like, do you honestly think that people will go with the phone to, like, scan the priest? No, seriously, just imagine. Like, try to picture this. You're in France, and the priest is holding mass. And you have people and they're going to scan his QR code. Isn't that a little bit demeaning? You know, like, here's another solution. Just fire the priests that have been molesters. That's it. Like, that's all you have to do. You don't have to, like, hire them and turn them into the human supermarket product where people go up to them and go, beep, beep, beep. I mean, like, look, imagine, no, seriously, like, let's apply this to any other group. To any other group. Imagine if they did it to African Americans in the United States. And they have to wear a QR code where it signals if they ever committed a robbery or not. Or any fucking thing like that. It's unthinkable. Because it's disgusting, it's dehumanizing. Right? That's not the way it should work. Like, even in America where they have a registry, it's like other countries don't really have a registry. But it's the duty of the person on the registry to announce others, right? Like, if you're a person that didn't do anything, you don't wear a QR code. Right? Like, a person that doesn't do anything and is innocent, why would they wear a QR code that even gets people to think about the situation? It is the mark of the beast. I don't know. But, like, apparently under the new system, people can scan the wallet-sized cards with their smartphone to receive one of 3 colors. So apparently, red shows that the priest has been stripped of his clerical position due to child abuse, though the nature of the sanction is not specified. if he has been stripped, like, this is what I want to know. Like, I need to ask the distributist about this. Like, he's a Catholic that knows shit, right? But, like, my question is, if he has been stripped of his clerical position, why is he in a church? Like, if you're considered stripped of your position, then get him the fuck out of the church. That's it. That's all you have to do. Green is a sign that the priest is in good standing, while orange indicates that he is not yet qualified to lead mass. What the fuck does that even mean? In my opinion, if a man can get 30 years for touching a 15-year-old girl, I will have the same energy if a woman touches my pre-teen son. Well, no, but like, again, there are cases, there have been several actually, where like the woman, who by the way, looked at South Park put it, nice. She had sex with like a 14-year-old, and sometimes 13. She got pregnant. Now she's in prison. And you know what? Like, do you want to know the punchline to this? Do you want to know the kicker? The kid has to pay child support. Guess who pays it? The parents. So imagine that. No, like just imagine. Like, you're the parent, and all of a sudden you find out that your kid has a child with the teacher, and you have to pay child support to her because you go to prison if you don't. Like the law doesn't care, right? Like, the law is the law, and it's specified. Well, it's his kid. You're the parent, so you're you have to pay for it. I know it's what the fuck, right? But I'll tell you why it's what the fuck, because the lawmaker didn't even account for this fucking situation. Because that's how you usually end up with these stupid rulings. Because the law is made for the general public, but eventually you have such a fucked up case that literally no one thought about it. Like, let me give you an example, right? If Donald Trump goes to prison, the Secret Service has to go to prison with him. Do you understand this? Like, because it's in the law that the Secret Service has to follow the president wherever he goes. Now, if the president happens to go to prison, the law is very clear. The Secret Service has to follow him. Now, obviously, there's going to be changes and shit, but like, the people who made the law, right? Like, the people who decided that the president has to be protected by the Secret Service, they never even thought that this possibility may occur. Like, they never thought, like, what if a president goes to prison? So, this is how it happens. Like, there are situations that the law doesn't account for, but when they happen, it's so fucked up. So, for example, exactly what I gave you, right? Like, what if a kid gets his teacher impregnated, the teacher goes to prison, but when she has the kid, he's the father. He has to pay child support. The law is clear. Like, there's no ifs or buts. Although, the only exception would be if you have a sane judge, and let's say like the grandparents demand custody, and then the teacher has to pay child support. So you can have that situation. And that's what I would probably do if I was a judge. I would be like, okay, well. The Catholic Church held the program as an efficient way to bust imposter priests and intensify the fight against sexual violence. How many imposter priests does the Catholic Church even fucking has? And even then, like, you would think that it might be a better method than putting a code that you put on products at a supermarket. Pedos should be fired the way they used to fire heretics. It's just like, I genuinely like do not understand how this is going to solve anything. Like, it's not going to prevent any more abuse, right? Like a priest that has a green QR code doesn't mean that if he was going to commit a crime, he would be like, oh, well, I want to commit it, but that damn QR code on my arm, it's ridiculous. If we have to scan QR codes of clergy members to reassure Catholics, it means the church has hit a new low. It's nothing more than a publicity stunt, and it shows the extent of which trust has been broken between faithful and their hierarchy. Francois Devaux, a former president of the Church Abuse Survivors Group. It's like, look, Francois Devaux, it's not even that. It's that the current pope or whomever made this call is really trying to make the church look bad. Like, I genuinely do not know of a different way you can get people to turn away from the church than doing this shit. Like, imagine if you do this to teachers, right? Like, every teacher has to wear a QR code in order to prove that they're not a child abuser. Do it to Democrats in the United. Every Democrat should, like, right? Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, no matter how you look at it, it looks bad. The only way you would do this is out of malice. Like, this has absolutely nothing to do with fighting crime. It's quite an exceptional measure, which in my opinion is one of the Catholic Church's 3 most stupid ideas. Christine Pedot, who runs the French Christian Weekly magazine, called it a small tool when compared to the scale of a problem. It just isn't enough. It's not even a small tool. You're not doing anything with it. Right? It's like having a Nintendo Switch while you're on a sinking boat. It's like it's a small tool to prevent the boat from sinking. No, it's not. It doesn't do anything. Imagine the beep scan from a confession. That is absolutely hilarious. That's fucking hilarious. How do you even approach the priest? How do you even approach the priest to scan him? What will he think of you? Like, no, put yourself in the situation that you have to carry a QR code to prove that you're not a sexual predator, right? Like, you never committed a crime, but you have to wear the QR code of shame because you're a priest, right? And then you have, like, a person coming up to you and scanning you. Like, what are you going to think? You didn't do anything, right? Like, you never committed a crime, you never did anything. No one that you know committed a crime, and you have this person coming to you, beep. Hey, nice to meet you. I'm not a pedophile. You know, it's kind of like that. Previously, Catholic priests scanned me like that. Previously, Catholic priests in the country have been required to carry a document confirming their profession and qualification, though the paperwork has been criticized to be hard to keep up to date. Why can't you have a fucking registry then? Like, look, if you really want to, what you can do is you can have like an online website, right? Like the Catholic Church of France or something like that. And you can type in the name of the priest and you can get all the information you want. Why can't you do that? Right? It's not dehumanizing if you do it. It's just like, and the funny thing is, I'm not a Catholic, okay? Like, I'm not. I'm an atheist. But even I am looking with maximum bewilderment at seeing what the higher-ups are doing to their own fucking church. Like, I'm not a Catholic and I'm offended. What does that tell you? Imagine if male feminists would have to carry the same QR code. Like, if you're a male feminist, you gotta carry around the QR code to prove. If you're a person working at CNN, like CNN, oh my god, they had so many sex scandals, it's unreal. I think it was like 2 years ago. They just wouldn't stop coming. It was like sex scandal after sex. Like, they're so lucky COVID happened because then people forgot and moved on. This is also to be a test on digital IDs. Nah, I don't think so because it's just like very limited on the Catholic Church. Like, if you want to do a test on digital IDs, they probably did it during the pandemic. Like, they don't need to do this. Like, the system is working. What else do they need to test? But it's like, God. God damn. Listen to this. This is another one, right? Like, we got a lot of hot stuff today. The app that tells wives if their men are doing enough housework. If my wife used something like this, I would divorce her so fucking fast, it's not even funny. Like, so first of all, the idea, the mythos that men are doing less housework. Right? Like that's one thing. But as secondly, it would be hilarious if the man earns more and he is required to do more housework. Like, you know, I noticed the situation with Steven Crowder. So, like, the whole complaint with Steven Crowder, which, by the way, is, like, the weakest family dispute that I have ever seen in my entire fucking life. The guy was like the whole scandal was that the wife had to do the groceries, right? And he said that because you didn't do the groceries, I will do them. So basically what he wanted to do was to take the car and do the groceries. But instead she's like, nah, like a horse high on ivermectin. And she's like, I'm not going to let you take the car, I'm going to go out, right? And that was the whole scandal. And people are like, well, why does a rich person like Steven Crowder has 2 cars? And my question is like, why doesn't the wife have one? Why doesn't she buy one? She's an adult. Why are people, like progressives especially, thinking of women like children? It's 2023. You can get a job. You can buy your own fucking car. Right? Like, I don't understand. So, apparently, right? Like it's okay for the man to work and earn 10 times as much as her, but he also needs to do the housework? No, I'm sorry. Just no. Why though? But if the other way is true, like if I marry a Ushikushi Sakubasu that has like big boobies and she manages to become the CEO of a big corporation and she earns more than me, yeah, I'll fucking do the housework. I wouldn't even say a peep, right? Like the moment that your significant other earns more than you and you stay at home, yeah, sure, do the housework, shut the fuck up. She was pregnant. So what? Like, if she's pregnant, she's not disabilitated. Like, we're talking about doing the groceries. We're not talking about, like, her climbing the fucking Mount Everest. It's like, oh, well, she was pregnant. And by the way, feminists say, like, pregnant women are disabilitated. And it's true. Go do some exercise. Pick the fucking groceries. It's fun. I like picking the groceries. It's not hard. You go there, you do shopping, you relax. You buy some sweets, you buy some candy, you buy whatever the fuck you want. I've yet to meet a person that doesn't like doing the groceries, by the way. Is there such a person? Like, unless you don't have money. Okay, like, if you don't have money, I can understand. If you're the type of person that lives paycheck to paycheck, that needs a notebook in order to do the calculus and manage to make sure that you know exactly how much money you have, so that you don't overspend, because then you have to make a rush for the fire exit out of shame. Yeah, if you're that person, I can understand why you wouldn't want to do groceries. But if you're a person that literally doesn't have to check the prices because Steven Crowder is your husband, and you don't even have to look at the price tag, you literally just see something that you like, and you put it in the bin, and you don't even look at, then yeah, I don't understand. I think like everyone likes to do that. And by the way, like how do you quantify housework? Like, let's say she washes the dishes, she does the laundry. Meanwhile, the husband fixes the plumbing. Like let's say the toilet broke, so he has to fix it. The garage door broke, so he has to fix it. Mows the lawn, right? Like, which one is easier? How do you like maybe like putting the dishes in the washing machine and pressing that fucking button? Maybe it takes a lot more than mowing the lawn. But at the end of the day, which one is a more intense physical activity? It's just like, I cook, clean, shop, and wash my own clothes. If she cut the 3 of the 4, then what was she doing with my life choice? No, like, you're absolutely right. Like here's the thing, right? I understand the fact that housework used to be hard. Because back in the day, and I kept saying this, but like, you needed to wash clothes by the river. So like, imagine this. You take all of the clothes that you have, you put them in a bucket, and you walk probably a couple of miles all the way to the nearest river, and you sit there and you wash them by hand, right? And when you see like a smudge, you have to go like right? Like, they even had like one of those things where you had to you could rub the clothes on it. Like, I know how washing by hand is because my grandma used to do it. That was like a hard and difficult and intense activity. Like, no, honestly, like, if you have to wash clothes by hand, it would take you several hours. And it's very labor intensive. Like, you do a lot of cardio washing by hand. Why do you think previous people weren't fat? So, like, that's just washing, right? Then you come home. You gotta mop using a broom. You gotta You don't have a vacuum cleaner. You gotta use a broom. You don't have like all of these expensive cleaning products. No, you have to like really rub the stain there in order to make sure that. So like, yeah, housework used to be an entire fucking day. But comparing it to today, well, you got a vacuum cleaner, you got a washing machine that even dries. You don't even have to put them on a string anymore. You got a Roomba if you want. You got takeout, like you can actually order and call in food. Like you get all of those things. Like it takes like what, like 1 hour to do all the houseworks if you live in a 2-room apartment. And yet no, it's so difficult. Sure, yeah, there's literally no reason for the woman to be a stay-at-home wife. This is why I never see eye to eye with conservatives. It's like, what the fuck is she doing all day? Go work, make money, go bring another income to the household. The children are starving. If I work, why can't you? I don't understand like the mentality. It's like, no, the woman needs to stay home. Like, why? Why does she need to stay home? Go work. What are the chances that Crowder has a housekeeper? Very high. My wife doesn't want to work. She's as traditional as she gets. When we go places, she stops at doors because she thinks it will magically open for her. Look, like, if you're the type of person that really likes that, like you want like a stay-at-home wife, fine, right? But at that point, I hope she doesn't come with the feminist bullshit. Because, like, there's like two types of women that I noticed, right? Like, you have like the progressive, open-minded women, and then you have the conservative waifu. Like, the conservative waifu, if she's literally conservative and she just wants to be a stay-at-home wife, fine. But if she wants to be like a progressive woman, then go to work. But if she wants to be like both, no. Like, both is unfucking reasonable, right? If you want to be conservative, be conservative. Don't like be conservative where it's convenient and be progressive where it's also no. Like, for example, and this is something that I used to do when I was dating. Like if I was dating a conservative waifu, I offered to pay for her dinner. But if she was telling me that she's big into feminismus and shit like that, no, you pay for your own dinner. This is 50-50. You're strong and empowered. Empower yourself by paying the bill. Women are really good at stretching things that should take 20 minutes into a whole day. Oh my fucking god. Like, procrastinating is a thing, man. Like, I also take a lot into making my YouTube videos. I'm not going to say that it's unreasonable for someone to stretch things out. But no, I know my grandma, right? So my grandma used to actually do a lot of things the traditional way, and it literally just takes you an entire day to do the housework using the tools available for our grandparents. Well, it depends actually in what country you are, but like traditionally, like a person in a rural area back in the day, if they don't have washing machine, if they don't have modern cleaning products and all of that, then I can understand why it took a lot. American Outlier, thank you for the $10. The giving me childhood flashback. Grandma, sweep that porch. Me, yes ma'am. Grandma, go feed the chickens. Yes ma'am. Go put that line around the outhouse. Yeah, but like literally, that's how I grew up. And you know what? I don't regret it. But like, back then, it was an entire day. Like, it would take you... And by the way, my grandmother used to chop wood as well. So... literally, with the axe. Like, she would go with the axe. She had like raise it above her head and like plonk. But like, I guess like that's Eastern European women for you. I can't imagine like the women that use the app to measure like how much their husbands spend on the housework. I can't imagine that they actually chop wood. No marriage with progressive open-minded women. I don't know, man. Like, some people it's supply and demand, when the supply is low, what can you do? It's also like if you're not in high demand, then you're not going to get a lot of supply. So My wife would chops wood like a maniac. Yeah, it's interesting. Like there are women in Eastern Europe that do these things, chopping wood. It's a very interesting activity. I wonder, like if you see a woman that's doing that, does it make her more sexy or less? I guess like academic agent doesn't like women with abs, so he probably wouldn't find it sexy. Let me accidentally close the stuff. I fucking got. I accidentally closed the article that I was about to read. If she chops your wood, dude. If she chops your wood, that's a prison sentence. What the fuck? Okay, I found the article again. I was scared there for a moment. Don't know what happened. Zlexian wants to get my channel demonetized. Zlexian, you're a bad person. Anyway. The day I realized my husband changed the locks after I had an affair and was left pounding on the door pleading, sickened and furious. There is no demand for a supply of crap, you'd be surprised. Why is this okay, this is literally clickbait. I haven't read the article, but I'm already like, what the fuck? Like, first of all, even at 53, this remains one of the most emotionally charged of my entire life. Who wrote this, though? Karen Kritsanovic. Is this an article or is she quoting someone else? We'll see. My hand was shaking. I love it. She was literally shaking. My hand was shaking. Was that why the key to the front door of my flat wouldn't go in properly? It was one of those hefty yell yaks. And as I twisted and propped, I thought perhaps I was just too tired or even upset to open the door. But no, I tried over and over again, and it was not the key. My house key would not open the door. I stared in disbelief. My husband changed the lock. While I was away visiting my elderly parents, he called the locksmith to our marital home and locked me out of it. Even now, 53 years or later, this moment remains one of the most emotionally charged in my entire life. And it came back full in Technicolor when I read Amanda Patel's harrowing piece in Female Magazine. You know, like the only... Okay, I will tell you how it can be harrowing. There is literally just one way. There is only one way that this can be harrowing. If you're a cheater as well. If you're a cheater, then it is harrowing. Think about it, right? Like, imagine an article where a man cheated on a woman, and then the woman did something nasty to him. The only way that would be harrowing is if you're a cheater too. Right? Like seriously. Except I was literally on the other side of the door. I was the wrongdoer, the one who was having an affair. While Amanda changed the locks, then sat indoors, sipping whiskey, and listening to her husband ever more frantic pleas to open up, I was the one in hallway outside the flat out in the cold. When I read Amanda's story, what intrigued me the most was not her devastation at her husband's infidelity, but her regret at how quickly she ended her marriage once she discovered it. Wait, hold on. So, is the husband the one that cheated? I don't understand. So, like, the article says, the day I realized my husband had changed the locks after I had an affair, and then the article says, while Amanda, except I was literally on the other side of the door. I was the wrongdoer, the one who was having an affair. While Amanda changed the locks, then sat indoors sipping whiskey and listening to her husband's ever more frantic pleas to open up, I was the one in the hallway outside the flat out in the cold. Um, when I read Amanda's story, what intrigued me most was not her devastation at her husband's infidelity, but her regret at how quickly she ended the marriage. Looking back, she thinks that the abruptness of the way she did it, the very evening she found out, was too harsh, too brutal. And I agree, yes, I was in the wrong to cheat. But the pain and humiliation I felt at the way my... No, okay, so she cheated. She cheated, it's just that the writer of this article didn't make any fucking sense. Oh, she's comparing her life to a fictional story. Oh, I see. Oh, okay, yeah, so this is like the Twitter trend where these people live through fiction. So what apparently, I'm in the wrong to cheat, but the pain and humiliation I felt at the way my marriage of 8 years was ended, also within hours of my husband's discovery, affected me every single day for years. How the fuck can you manage to make yourself a victim? Like, there are some people that consider themselves victim even when they're caught literally with their underwears all the way down. Like they have their underwears all the way to their knees, and yet they still find a way to victimize themselves. It's astonishing. Astonishing how the human brain works. Like only the human mind can work in such magical and intrinsical ways that when you do the wrong, you are the fucking victim. It's just like, can you imagine? But it's not only that, you know, like fine, you know, like we have ways to cope, and like most people, well, like this is why when someone tells you their side of the story, that they're like going to make themselves look good and they're not going to talk about the bad stuff. But like, why would she put it in a fucking newspaper? Like, you put it in a newspaper and you think that other people are going to sympathize with you. Literally cannot take responsibility for her own actions. Literally, like she didn't learn a thing. You are correct about Matt. I don't approve of Tate, however. I hate Western media so much that I practically abandoned it. It is terrible. Man, I don't approve of Tate either. It's not about Tate. It's simply about the fact that Tate knows how to attract his subscriber base. Right? It's like, oh, what do they want? Anime. Okay, well, Photoshop some anime waifus in it. That's it. That's all you have to do. Anyway, right. What was my immediate exile from the marriage really the right thing for my husband to do? I horribly wounded pride good enough reason to throw away years of mutual support and yes, happiness. You should have asked that when you decided to cheat. I genuinely do not fucking understand. I genuinely do not this is baffling to me. I wonder if Romanian women think the same, because we don't get these types of article here, so maybe they do, but they don't put it in the media. It's like, oh, well, what was he okay to throw in the year? You threw in the years of marriage, woman. You did. I knew he knew about 10 hours before I came home. So he changed the locks. I was just, well, you hurt him. Fuck. I caught my ex cheating and she was the victim. Look, no, that's not the problem. No, I'll tell you something. Most people cope, right? Go into a prison and ask the prisoners, and you'll find out that they all have a sob story. They all have an explanation for why they do it. They all consider themselves to be the victims. This is normal. What's not normal is when you put it in the media and you expect people to sympathize with you. When you cope like this, is that you're doing it for your sanity in a way, but you kind of know you fucked up. Right? But you don't expect other people to go oh, yeah, no, she definitely had it rough. She is lucky she didn't cheat in Texas. Oof. So, anyway, I was just leaving my parents' house in the US. There was another reality show. Apparently, there was this woman who cheated on a guy. And when the guy finds out, he doesn't care. She literally tells him live. She tells him live, I cheated with your best friend. And he's like, meh. And she gets angry that he is not upset. Honestly, again, the human mind. The human mind is capable of such miracles. It's I don't even know what to say. This is how Walter White should have treated Skylar when she cheated. If Walter White treated Skylar that way, he would still be alive. Because take into account that Skylar stole his money. Like, he wanted to run away. He wanted to use the vacuum cleaner guy, but he had no cash. So if Walter White treated Skylar this way, he would still be alive today. We would still have Breaking Bad. The moment any party of a relationship cheats, that's how it should end. Yeah, well. And you know, like, in Eastern Europe, people are more violent. Let's put it like this. She's not a victim. For a moment I thought I was going to be sick. He said he had proof. Photos. I thought of the laptop in our flat, which I'd left unlocked. Had he seen the pictures of me and the other man read our emails? And look at this, you know, like such a victimizing look, professional victim. This photo is not her, right? Like they actually recreated, right? So like imagine this. There is a closed door and this person got on this position and the cameraman was probably like, can you move to the left a little bit? No, like stay like that. Like can you raise your hand a little bit? Right? Like put your hand like this. Like I want you to put your hand like that. All right, perfect. Click. You know, and then they went to the filter, black and white, to add sadness to the thing. No, because he was terminally ill. That's another good thing. Like, you're cheating and you took photos. Holy shit! Oh my god, I can't read this article. It's way too fucking long. Look at it, chat. Look at it. Look. It's got like wall of text though. And this other picture, it's like, okay, can you sit next to the door? Can you place your hands over your ears? Yeah, like can you slouch a little bit? Chick-click. Fuck. God. What should I say to him? How dare you accuse me of that? Of course I'm not having an affair. Why are you? But I told the truth instead. Yes, I am. The line went dead. Well, what the fuck do you think would happen? Like, you know, I bet if the husband would have said, yes, you are. Oh, okay, I see. Should be upset because he doesn't care enough. I spent the flight home from Chicago in a state of barely repressed hysteria. It felt like a chasm had opened up in front of me and I was falling into it. He had timed that call well, inflicting maximum pain with no prospect of relief. My God, what an awful person! Jesus. I tried calling and texting in the cab on the way home, but there was no reply. It was midday in London. Absurdly, of course it's London, like one of the most feminist places in the world. Like only in London can you cheat as a woman, and when the husband gives you a divorce, you still are the victim. Absurdly, my bags were full of American goodies, including huge jars of peanut butters. Oh, you are trying to bribe him. Oh my fucking God. Absurdly, my bags were full of American goodies, including huge jar of peanut butter, and they weighed a ton. Chat, you need to imagine, right? Like, she had, like, heavy shopping bags. And he was such an asshole. Completely undeserved. The driver, oh my God, the driver helped me drag them onto the entrance of the mansion block. But I needed help to get them to the top of the stairs of our flat. I rang the buzzer once, twice, several times more in vain. Yes, he was at home, but he wasn't answering the intercom. The gown! The balls on this woman! Holy shit! I'm just... God, this is not real. No, this is what am I reading from? DailyMail.com. Okay, well, it's not a satirical website. I dragged the cases through the communal hall. Does my ex ever wonder today whether he was too harsh with the too hasty with the locksmith, too vengeful? No, I think if he reads this, he would be like, God, spot on, like mwah, ushikushi, omoshiroi. All I know is that as soon as I realized the keys did not work, I pounded on the door, screaming, let me in. Oh, please let me in. And feeling sorry and sickened and furious, I kicked the door several times, shaking it on its hinges. I swore and pleaded and wept. I'm sure he was there. I thought I could hear him moving right by the door on the other side. It wasn't a big flat, and he couldn't help but hear every word of my desperate begging. Was he gloating? Was he enjoying? You know, like that's a fair question. Like, when you are cheating, what are you enjoying? You know, like that's a fair question to ask from him to you. Like, what are you enjoying when you are cheating? When you thinking like, oh, did you even consider how he felt? Not knowing what else to do, I actually phoned the police. My voice was hoarse, tears running down my face. The fun thing is that in some countries and in some legislations, the police would actually force her in. The lion, the witch, and the audacity of this bitch. Time had no meaning in that space. On that landing with my stupid suitcase filled with gifts and goodies. And my idiotic keys belonging to no lock at all. The truth is, my affair was a symptom of an unraveling marriage rather than its cause. It began when my career as a oh my fucking god, this is like a Naruto flashback, chat. This is like, you know, when Deidara is fighting Madara, and it's like, okay, he called the police. And then it's flashback. How it all began, my career as a journalist. God. Let me stop you right there. That's the first bad decision. Once our flat had been a wonderful sanctuary, a place for friends to gather. He was no longer quite so proud to have me on his arm, so it felt. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't fucking... You don't cheat, you know? If you were bored of the marriage, you have a no-fault divorce opportunity, you file that, and then he doesn't change the keys. To be fair, he was always a generous man, but I felt as if I'd fallen to earth. I had been the big earner. Now I couldn't even afford takeaway coffee. How does that work? How can you be the big earner and then you can't afford takeaway coffee? I should have gone to therapy, but frankly, you were leeching off of him, weren't you? Oh, that's why the no fault, because you were leeching off of it. And I didn't think marriage counseling was something he would do. That's why I was began having an affair. Of course. Well, like, I mean, it's not you, it's his fault, right? He was married too. Okay, so you're also a homewrecker. Congratulations. Oh my fucking god, the audacity. I don't think they have alimony in UK. I may be wrong, I have to check. I felt listened and understood. You know, like, people can listen and understand you without fucking you. I'm just saying. The affair was honestly a desperate and stupid attempt at personal salvation, not marital punishment. Oh my god. I have never read something from a person that's so disconnected from reality. Like, look, lady, like, if you were in your marriage the same way you're in this article, I can see why your marriage wasn't working. Like, if you manage to victimize yourself, even like when there is literally no you know, so it's not your fault you cheated. You are the victim for him breaking up with you. It's not fair what he did to you. Like honestly, I just don't know. I have no idea how long my husband suspected, but I do know that it was never supposed to break up our marriage. In my head, I justified, well, yeah, like, that's the problem. In your head, you can justify everything. I swear to God, if this woman runs over a car, if this woman runs with a car over someone, like, she will justify it somehow. She will make herself the victim. If she runs over a deer, even though there's, like, that sign that tells you warning Animal Crossing, and she runs over into a deer, she will say that it's somehow the deer's fault. Like, she would just, no, fucking hell, I can't believe it. It's insane. I do not believe that this person exists. I do not believe that this is an actual person. I think like this is a made-up story to get clickbait for the dailymail.com. That's what I think. So apparently she had no option but to go crawling to friends, dragging her enormous suitcase with her. There was no question of going to my lover's place, of course. There was never any long-term potential in it. Wah, wah, wah. But like, it's interesting that she doesn't say what the cops said when they came, because like she called the cops, but I guess the cops probably found that what she did is unreasonable. No, she doesn't apologize. I refuse to believe this person exists. No, seriously. I think like this is like when the journalist said, you know, I know from a guy that knows from a guy that Trump did this and it was all bullshit. I think this is the type of article. I stayed with those friends for a week then. I had to go back to the marital flat where my husband and I lived, and we both owned the flat, so legally he was obligated to let me in. See, I told you. But he wasn't there very often, and he tried to avoid me when he was. We didn't talk about what happened except through lawyer letters, which cost a bomb to reply, and always arrived on a Friday to poison the weekend. Oh my god. You know what? This guy is a fucking Chad. Like you literally knew how to handle this situation. I spent my days in a haze of conflicting, desperate feelings. Stupid, sad, surprised, hysterical. Alas, he did not. He had steeled himself against me. I was in despair, and I assumed he was too. No, I don't think he was. Mutual friend said he was coping as well. Well, if he was, he actually knew how to handle you. Just 10 out of 10. Like, that is no way. Like, there is nothing that he could have done, which I would have said, okay, well, you could have done this in order to make it better. No. You did it perfectly. Like, this guy should write a book. Like, he should become a professor at the university, explaining to other people how to handle these types of situations. It's like, look, if your wife cheats on you, step 1, change the keys. Step 2, do not answer. Like, literally. Step 3, all mails should go on a Friday. Lawyers only. After several weeks of this mutual furious cohabitation, my husband moved out. And not long after, our beautiful flat was sold. The day the removal men were due, I started to pack it up alone. Let her pack alone. Step number 4. Make sure she packs alone. As a man that acknowledges that when a bomb goes off in your marriage, you owe it to each other to take the time to find out why. No. You cheated, okay? Period. There's no more time to find, like, the bomb went off. The new professor. It would be funny if you find out this is a Son Piker and like during his professor years. If I had been given a space to talk, explain, and beg for forgiveness, perhaps he would have saved what we had. Yeah, but perhaps you'd have cheated again. Perhaps he didn't want to deal with that shit. In fact, it didn't take long for him to move on. Well, look, like, it doesn't seem like it was a him problem. It doesn't seem like it was a him problem at all. Like the man moved on. He was married again. Look at this. Look at, like, no, seriously, this is like epic Chad. Like, he just transpassed Chad. You know, if Chad is over here and you think like this is like the maximum level of Chadness that the guy is here. Okay? Like, the guy is literally here at this point. Like, it's like beyond the Call of Duty, you know? Like he went way and beyond what was required to do in this situation. He moved on, got married. You know what I bet? If the other woman cheats on him, he would change the locks again. I bet like he's got a new key and a new lock ready to go in his drawer. Like, there is a place in his drawer like where there's just like a new lock and key just ready to go at a moment's notice. Unironically, what No Fun No Hope said, I want to marry this guy. Like I'm not gay, chat. Nothing wrong with being gay. It's just that I'm not it. But like, this guy is making me wet. Like, seriously, like look at him. Look how he is handling the situation. Fantastic moment, yes. Now I wonder if he is real. Like, I know for sure she isn't, but like, I'm wondering like if this type of man does exist out there. Probably has a locksmith side hustle. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a locksmith on speed dial. Just waiting to go. It's like, come on, haven't cheated on me? Like, like automatically. No matter, I took all the blame. But it's like, oh, she took the blame, chat. She took the blame. I was depressed for a long time about work, and I'm sure he felt exhausted by me. Woman, I feel exhausted by reading this. The fact is, I love my husband. I didn't marry him because I was planning on having an affair. It doesn't fucking matter. Of course, people will say that the feelings of hurt and betrayal I experienced when he changed the locks were nothing but my own fault. Yes, I was a bad one. Yes, a bad one. Absolutely. Bad person, definitely. I was the one who threw it all away, so how dare I even speak about my feelings? Oh my god, it's like she's in my head now. Being locked out by my husband felt like being paraded through the street, naked with my head shorn as if I was caught collaborating with the enemy. Though most of my friends were wonderful, I did lose some because they had to choose him or me. My god, like this person, like this guy, I wish I knew his name. I want to write an email to him now. I literally want to have him on my stream. I want to be like, so tell me, how can you be this masculine? Like, what is the secret to your testosterone? Like, he literally just ripped friends from her. Only way this could get better is if he went to follow a new passion of becoming a locksmith. When I walk past my old flat, which I do sometimes, I still feel the pang that confronts me. I do feel wound that doesn't heal. Amanda and her ex had an email exchange a couple of years. I said it wasn't just him, blah blah blah. I wish my ex-husband and I could have such an exchange if it. Oh, so apparently he doesn't. Okay, so in the movie that she's talking about, Amanda and her husband exchanged letters and forgave each other, but apparently her ex didn't. I have tried to contact him many times over the years, but he has locked me of any communication. I am dead to him. Let's see if this thing has a comment section. That is no fucking word. Like, who writes this and thinks, yeah, you know, like this article is going to get me sympathy? Like, if I get my wife over here and tell her the story, she's not going to find an ounce of sympathy. Okay, we have comments. Literally, the first comment. 840 upvotes. Good. The sense of entitlement is overwhelming. The guy had a lucky escape. No one should be locked out of their own house or home too. May not be a popular opinion. 1,163 downvotes. But they were mad. You know, I don't think she's telling the truth, and I'll tell you why. She called the cops, and the cops didn't do anything. I don't think it was her house. I do not think it was her house. If it was, like, if her name was on the ID, the police was obligated to let her in. But if she called the cops and they didn't let her in, it means it wasn't, she lied. There is no other explanation. Like, if I, okay, so, for example, if I leave the house right now and my wife locks me in, I have an ID which says that I live at this house. The police is going to force the door open and push me in, literally. Like, that's the law. Now, the opposite is also true. If I force my wife out, she can call the cops and they will force her in. If you want to have like so the only way that works is that if let's say it would be her property and it's her name on the deed, but because we're living together, she allows me to have an ID on her house. She would have to go to City Hall. She would file the paperwork that she no longer allows me to stay in this house. They would then take my ID. They would change the address. Like, it's a complete different process. Another way is to divorce. And then it's like, okay, well, the house belongs to both people. They sell it. But there is no way that if she actually lived there and it was her place, that the cops wouldn't let her in. So she's lying. When I caught my ex cheating in bed, I got my lawyer to take my name off everything, and she didn't work. She lost everything after I left. No, but it's like, I genuinely don't understand why this is controversial. Like what? Women don't do this? Like, you're telling me that if a woman catches her husband cheating, she's not going to file for a divorce or try to break up? Like, this is ridiculous. In another episode, not my house. No, I think like what happened is that it was his house, but after the divorce, they had to spread everything 50-50, so they took half of his house. I think that's what happened. I think like she actually took half his shit, because she's saying that she used to be wealthy, but she couldn't afford even a Starbucks now. So basically, she was leeching off him. Like, she was a journalist. He was probably doing something that allowed him to make some money. And she was using his money in order to travel with planes and visit her parents and her folks and whatnot. Right? So, like, she lost her income. Like, because she's saying, oh, well, I didn't like my marriage was going bad. And the reason that she didn't file a divorce is because, like, she needed the money. Now, sure, when you file a divorce, you get half the stuff, but it's only once, right? You only get half the stuff once. You don't constantly get a monthly fee. Like you don't get a recurring paycheck. But this article is definitely something else. My girlfriend cheated and her 18-year-old daughter told me. I made her homeless, but the daughter is still living with me. Man, am I finding out such interesting stories from the chat. Holy shit. This article is definitely something. I'll end it here, chat, because I need to go make 2 more videos, but still can't believe it. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.